Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football. I hope all of you are doing well today as we get into video number 2. If you haven't caught the first video earlier on today, you can go and have a butcher's, have a look and enjoy. We do have quite a lot to go through like I anticipated earlier on, hence why there's a double upload. So make sure your subscribe notification bell on because whenever these days come around, you want to be here. Let's get tucking in, shall we? And it starts off with Cole Palmer. Now, I want to address this because there was a rumour that came out yesterday and Simon Phillips was quoted, but without even really quoting him, it's just someone put a post up going, Simon Phillips said this, and I can't find it anywhere, that apparently Cole Palmer is out for 6 to 8 weeks, right? And no one else said a thing. We've not heard anything like that at all. And up until now, we have an update. So let me show you the update. Here it is. So there is currently no update on Cole Palmer. Surgery for his groin injury is considered a last resort, with Chelsea hoping the issue can be managed without an operation. Now, this is where it gets a little bit sticky because when there is talk about surgery, you know, when you're looking at not doing surgery, you still expect him to be out for a considerable amount of time. Am I correct? But we've got no confirmation. So we just have to wait and see what happens. But you best believe Cole Palmer's not playing against Brighton. I don't think he'll play against Benfica. And following that, God knows. God knows. So let's wait and see. But that's Cole Palmer. No confirmation yet. It could very well be 6 to 8 weeks. It might not be 6 to 8 weeks. It might be something completely different. Let's wait for the confirmation and then we'll go from there. But don't expect him to come back so soon. That's all I'm going to say. Now, I'm going to show you something, and I don't want to talk about this, but it's done the rounds and it's gone viral, to be fair. So who am I not to talk about it, basically? Because if I don't, it doesn't really make much of a difference, does it? Let me show you. So there was an update earlier on that came out from Indicalia. Now, Indicalia is the page that David Ornstein decided to big up during the transfer window once. And all of a sudden, his stocks literally went from the floor to, oh my God, this guy could be tier 1. Well, here's what they put earlier on today. Let's go through it. Exclusive. According to CFC sources, Cole Palmer, unsatisfied with his tactical role for Chelsea. Certain player find Enzo Maresca arrogant. Chelsea owners are aware of concerns from the players. And Andoni Iraola, big admirers at Chelsea. Well, this, as far as I'm concerned, this whole post is waffle. Now, I got to be honest at the same time. We are playing like this is true. Right now, we're playing poor. But Cole Palmer unsatisfied with his tactical role? Nonsense. The thing that's holding him back right now is injury, not his tactical role. Because when there was a concern about his tactical role last season, if you remember, the moment we brought in Esteval, João Pedro, we've got Pedro Neto, all of that, what did you see from Cole Palmer specifically at the World Cup and beyond that? You saw a flexible Cole Palmer, a free Cole Palmer. Someone that doesn't stick to a certain area of the pitch, but someone that can roam wherever they want to go. That is what Cole Palmer wanted to play. So, waffle. Certain player thinks Enzo Maresca is arrogant. That might very well be true. But I love how it says certain player. One player. Bloody hell. Out of an entire squad, you've picked out one player. Of course, you can go to any squad and go, who thinks the manager's arrogant? You don't think you're going to get one or two? Of course you will. Go to Arsenal, think there isn't any players that think Arteta is arrogant or too big for his boots. 100% you'll find one or two. One or two. Doesn't mean it's the consensus of the squad. If that's even true, by the way. Chelsea owners are aware of concerns from the players. I have to be honest, we've not seen players down tools. We've seen poor moments of play. We've seen, like yesterday, the first half, that was atrocious, and Malo Gusto spoke, and I'll show you later. But then the second half, there was a response. Why? Because Maresca decided to get angry and speak his mind. When you down tools, you don't give a response, no matter what. AKA West Ham United right now. Mess. That's clear. Iraola has big admirers at Chelsea. That very well could be true. That very well could be true. That one I won't dismiss. Because I don't think it's just maybe Chelsea specifically here. I think there's other clubs looking at an Areola and going, you know what, there's something about him. So I'm not dismissing that one at all. But this paints everything like, oh, there's some sort of crisis going on right now. Get out of here. Get out of it. We're 5 games in. What are we doing? No. So let's wait and see. Following from that, let's go to some transfer news. And let's go to what seems to be happening over at Strasbourg. Well, here's the latest from Cyril Olives. Came out and said Strasbourg centre-back Ismail Doucouré could join Chelsea next summer. We also have Graham Bailey saying TBR Football understands Chelsea have plans in place for Ismail Doucouré, with Bluecoat rejecting a number of Premier League approaches in the summer. The French under-21 star agreed a new deal in the summer after his pathway to Stamford Bridge was mapped out. This isn't news. I'm showing you it just because that's what's out and I want to give my thoughts on it. But this is not news. We know about Doucouré. We were told about Doucouré. Like it says here, when it was mapped out. Yeah, we were told. We know. Doucouré is another example of someone at Strasbourg where the intention is to Chelsea, not to stay at Strasbourg. Much like a Mega. But there's one issue here. And that issue is Mamadou Sarr. And the other issue is Anselmino, who are centre-backs that I genuinely believe will be returning back to Chelsea. And at that point, yeah, I think there's enough centre-backs here. Do you know what I mean? Let's see how Sarr and Anselmino do away from Chelsea at the moment. They've both had really good starts so far. Doucouré is someone that we know has been brought in for this sort of pathway, but I got to be honest, does he even get in? I would just keep him at Strasbourg for as long as possible right now and just let him keep playing, because I honestly feel like in that sort of department, you know, the players that we're looking to that are young, that can have development, that are looking for the pathway, that where Chelsea are like, yeah, we might keep our eyes on him. We've got enough of those. Like I just gave you the names. And that's not mentioning the centre-backs that we already have at the club. We're going to have to sell some more centre-backs. Do you know what I mean? With, let's say, Badiashile. Let's say even a Wesley Fofana if he doesn't get up his fitness. All these even, we're looking at people questioning Chalobah and Tosin, you know? When you're looking at an Anselmino, you're looking at Mamadou Sarr. That's enough prospect for us. If we're going to go in for a centre-back that we need to go and get right now, it needs to be someone that's a little bit more secure, not a developmental player. So, Doucouré, you keep doing you, my friend. Just keep playing and work hard and put your head down. Simple as that. There's nothing else to really add on. Let me know your thoughts on that one. Now, I said this as a joke a couple of weeks ago? I should have known. Chelsea had a large delegation in the director's box on Saturday. There was Egbali, Winstanley, Stewart, Joe Shield, Sam Jewell, Daniel Finkelstein. Among their travelling party was David Weir, less than 2 weeks after his surprise departure from Brighton as technical director. Yes, the one that I mentioned on here as a joke. Do you remember? I told you guys. I was like, oh, no, look, this guy's just left Brighton. Welcome to Chelsea. I put out a tweet, by the way, of that, and it went flipping. I don't know how many views on X did that get? Like 200,000 or something? It blew up, right? All because I said, welcome to Chelsea, mate. I said that as a joke. I should have known. I should have known. Yeah, no jokes from now on. No jokes from now on. He was with the Chelsea delegation at Old Trafford. I'm going to say it. Welcome to Chelsea, mate. He's going to end up as part of the hierarchy, isn't he? Yeah, we're going to get a third director, aren't we? I can see it. I can see it happening. This is, yeah. David Weir, mate, listen, welcome to Chelsea. There's no point fighting it. He's going to be a Chelsea director. Now, talking about the directors, talking about the ownership and what's going on. Let's get into what Kieran Gill had to say. Now, pay attention, because earlier on, in video number 1, we spoke about Mike Maignan, didn't we? It is understood Chelsea made sure to leave cash in their reserves this summer so they can spend in January if they did decide an area of the team needs bolstering. How much? How much did we leave in the kitty? You see, no, I don't understand. I don't get it. So we have money. So at first we don't have money. Then actually, I take that back. First, we do have money. And we're looking to buy Xavi Simons, all of that. Then we don't pursue. Then we do sell Nkunku. But we're trying to sell Jackson. And we're told that we're not going to spend because we're trying to sell Jackson. But then in the midst of that, we put in a bid for Fermin Lopez. But then we're told, no, we're not signing anyone because we can't get rid of Jackson. We also have the UEFA settlement, which means we can't over a certain bracket. So we're told, okay, we're not spending because these restrictions. Okay, but now in January, we've got money. I don't know what's going on. I genuinely do not know what's going on. Do we have the cash or not? Because if we do have the cash, then you could make an argument that we should have actually made an attempt to go and get someone on deadline day. Or if we do have the cash, then we should have actually got Xavi Simons then, shouldn't we? But we didn't. I don't get this whole logic. This whole logic is not logicking. But now we're told we do have money in Jan. The people that will look at our centre-back situation right now will be like, yo, we got money in Jan. Well, what are we doing then? Let's spend and buy a centre-back. And I can't argue that. That makes complete sense. Because our centre-backs are suffering right now. Defensively, we are suffering right now. So this makes sense. Now, when I spoke about Mike Maignan earlier on, that was in the event of a free transfer because he will be available from January onwards because he hasn't signed a new deal, if he doesn't sign a new deal. But that would mean that if we do have money, well, we can spend on someone else, which means that we can buy a centre-back. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I want to hear your theories. What in the sequence of things and events that I just outlined to you, what do you think is the truth here? What do you think is actually the truth? I'd love to know. Let me know your theories down below. Now I'm going to show you something here now, all right? It's come from Kieran Gill as well, which tells you basically what I've been seeing for a little while. Chelsea are pleased with the progress being made by Mike Penders, the 20-year-old on loan at their sister club, Strasbourg. Of course. He will be in the Chelsea squad next season. 100%. 100%. You best believe. I say that irrespective of that, we should still get Mike Maignan. And then if we have to move forward, we can have Mike Maignan and Mike Penders. The two mics. Two magic mics. You know, that's it. Goalkeeper situation sorted. One for now, one for the future. I think that would be fair. But that's just me. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Now, I also spoke earlier on about mentality and about our performance against Lincoln and how poor that first half was. Well, Malo Gusto, one of the suspects for me, and I have to clarify this, by the way, because I saw your comments. And I want to make this clear because I feel like it's very important and I feel like people are only watching football from one lens. Based on a lot of your comments yesterday about my comments on Malo Gusto, I said he was dreadful. And I stick to that. I think he was. And why? But I did mention something else, which you guys, I feel like the ones that did leave the comments, are seeing from that only lens. I did say he bombs forward, he gets involved in the attacking phase. I said those words, you know, he'll put in a cross and he'll move forward, and that's great. But defensively, he was an absolute disaster. Now, what position does this brother play? He plays as a right back. I need you to defend, my friend. I need you to defend first. The rest comes later. You know, this is the whole debate that we had about Nico Jackson. You know, you can do all the little bits fine, but brother, can you score me a goal? Like, consistently, please. You know, for a defender, listen, can you defend? The rest is a top-up. Can you defend? Gusto defensively has been an absolute horror show. We saw it against United, and we also saw it against Lincoln yesterday. Dreadful. That's my point. When watching players, based on the position that they are in, you need to pay attention to them in both facets of the game. Defensively and offensively. On the ball and off the ball. Those are things that you need to pay attention to, not just one way. If we're only looking at Gusto bombing forward and contributing, well, yeah, he had a good game. But you are a defender, my friend. A defender. A right back. You're meant to defend. That's your prime job. And he sucks at that. So that's the problem here. So we got to be honest with ourselves. But Malo Gusto did speak. Now, I said I spoke about mentality. Well, listen to what he's got to say. He said Chelsea played like kids in the first half against Lincoln. He says, of course, in the first half, we played like kids. They bullied us in every part of the pitch. It was really bad for us. Now, I don't doubt the quality is there to deal with Lincoln. But there was something here yesterday that was just completely switched off. And the proof is in the pudding, like I said in video number 1. We come out for the second half after Maresca decided to give them the flipping, hair dry treatment. All of a sudden, we now know how to play football. We come out of the dressing room, we now know. It's a mental thing then. So what happened yesterday? Did we go in naive? Did we go in, thinking it's fine, we're going to cruise this? Did we go in overconfident? Were we too cocky? Were we in our own heads? Well, I don't understand. But something mentally was wrong. And Gusto's gone and confirmed it here. We played like kids. That tells you everything you need to know. Tells you everything you need to know. So there's that. Let me know your thoughts on that one. Now, I saw something, and this is going to be a bit more of a personal segment of the video that I don't normally do, but I feel like it's important. I came across this on X, and I feel like it's absolutely justified for me to show because I agree with a lot of what it says. And I want to know what you guys think. And this is about Enzo Fernandez. Pay attention. This has come from Sam, CFC Footy, right? Random Chelsea fan, I'm guessing. Random. Not a page or anything, not a journo. He says, this fan base, man. No context, no patience, just knee-jerk hot takes. You're telling me the midfielder who gave you 30 GA last season, who literally leads all centre-mids in the Premier League in chances created in 2025 and has the most GA for us in 2025 is suddenly a flop signing because of 4 to 5 bad games. That's embarrassing. He's been flagged non-stop since he arrived. League, Cups, Europe, League, Cups, Europe, you name it, and somehow he's still expected to cover the most ground in a role that isn't even what we bought him for. But he adapted, carried us when Palmer disappeared for half a season, and was one of the biggest reasons we made top 4. But now after a small dip, people are writing him off. When Palmer went missing for 6 months, everyone circled the wagons to defend him. Where's that same energy for Enzo? Palmer has the freedom to play like a luxury 10. Enzo's chained to a tactical role that demands constant graft, and yet people can't see the difference. Let's be honest, if you're screaming drop him permanently or sell him, you're not analysing football, you're just chasing drama. Call for him to get some rest and some sub-appearances before he's ready again, fine. But don't embarrass yourselves with these clueless takes. And you know what? For a good portion of that, I'm going to agree. And I'm someone that's saying Enzo's been playing poor. But Enzo's not a rubbish footballer. I agree. All of a sudden, it takes 1-2 games for us to go, oh yeah, no, this player's just rubbish, done. That's not how it works. Enzo Fernandez looks like he's come back unfit, or he's completely tired, or he's sluggish, or something. But, and this is why I've called for Andre Santos to start ahead of him now. That doesn't mean he's permanently dropped. That means that, yeah, I think and I've said this in the preview for the Lincoln game, that Enzo needs to play, he needs to be on that pitch. But prior to that, I would have gone with Caicedo and Andre Santos. I said that. Because Enzo's not been playing well. And when you are in bad form at that point, when you have an alternative, like unlike last season when we didn't have an alternative, this season we do have an alternative, well, Enzo can sit on the bench then for a bit. Because we might actually get something out of Andre Santos. This doesn't mean that Enzo Fernandez is a rubbish footballer. Some people paint him out to be useless. That's complete nonsense, man. Complete nonsense. No. Now, there is also the argument of whether he can play in this double pivot with Caicedo. Caicedo can, absolutely. Can Enzo? We've seen Maresca try to push Enzo a little bit more forward, where we've actually seen him contribute a little bit better, but it's still not been enough because, like I've said, physically, something doesn't look right. But like I said, he has proven that he is and can be a top-tier midfielder, but I completely agree here. We're 4 to 5 games in, and all of a sudden we're writing people off completely. Like, no. When you look at a Jorgensen yesterday, yes, that's taking it a bit too far. Yeah, that's he played like he was a danger to the team, right? Fumble after fumble after fumble after fumble. Set level, and we played Lincoln in League One. That's where you have to be realistic with some analysis and go, yeah, you know what, you're not cutting it, mate. But Enzo Fernandez, come on, let's be honest. Does he need to be dropped, perhaps? For now, yes. Give Andre Santos the chance. Just like for the centre-backs, give Achiampong the chance now. It's justified. And this is coming from someone that says, I want to try and bring some stability to that defence. But when it gets to a point where it's like, okay, you are in bad form. You can't just keep playing. Give someone who is right there as an option the chance. Yes, Andre Santos, same situation here. That's what I would do. So, that's where I feel like, look, it's important to try and keep a rational mind. It's important to try and look at the overall bigger picture and to not get sucked up in emotion after each and every single game. And yes, this is coming from me. Because I've been there and worn that t-shirt and done it. Doesn't get you anywhere. Sometimes you do need to have a bigger brain and to think overall. And sometimes just give things a little bit of a chance. Give things a little bit of time and you'll get your answer. I think that's wise. So, Enzo Fernandez, we'll see if he's going to feature against Brighton personally, and you'll see the lineup on Friday when I give you that. I wouldn't put him in my lineup. He's not going to be in my lineup, but it doesn't mean flipping sell him. So, anyway. Now, another story is whether Chelsea have to generate money in the future. And if they do, well, and someone comes in for Enzo Fernandez and they bid 130 million, well, we might be in a situation where Chelsea could be tempted. That's a different kettle of fish, and that's something completely different. But as a footballer and as a midfielder, come on, he's not pants. He's not pants. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated. Now, Tottenham, we're going to end here. This is funny. Fabrizio. Tottenham have a priority option on Harry Kane should he decide to leave Bayern. Spurs have opened the door for Kane to return, but it remains to be seen what the player will decide at the end of the season. I'm in two minds here. One half of my brain is telling me, like, Harry Kane, what? You really? No, come on. He's going to dismiss this and laugh because he's at a place where he can actually win silverware. I know you're going to say Tottenham just won the flipping Europa League. Great. But are they realistically going to win any more silverware from this point onwards? It's not likely. Whereas Bayern Munich, it's quite likely. So Harry Kane needs to think about silverware. One part of my brain is saying, don't do it. The other part of my brain, my Chelsea brain, is telling me, yeah, why not? Why not? I'll tell you why. Because if Kane were to leave Bayern Munich, well, all of a sudden, Bayern Munich will trigger the Nicholas Jackson deal, won't they? And Jackson will become the new number one striker over there. Which means that they will pay the money to make it permanent. Which means we will sell Jackson properly. What do you take? Do you take no Harry Kane coming back to Tottenham and that's great? Or do you take Harry Kane coming back to this Tottenham, an upgraded Tottenham, but also seeing Nicholas Jackson sold, which means we get our money, which we can sell, which we can then use to buy? Tough cookie. What would you do? Let me know down below. And we'll wrap it there. Much appreciated. Let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated, like I've said. And I will be here tomorrow. We'll see if there's going to be a double. There probably will, so make sure you're here for it. Subscribe, notification bell. I'll catch you then. In a bit, people. Look after yourselves. See you then. Take care. And peace.